Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I have to surprise you by saying there's a lot of fear in our world now. A lot of things on our radar, from conflicts overseas to the economy, election year, all of that going on. How do we deal with that within our minds? We're going to talk about that. And she is also going to reveal something called the 4 L's, which is going to help pilot you around a lot of this stuff. She's got a PhD in philosophy, therapeutic counseling. She's also a spiritual healer, a speaker, and she's very musically talented. She just gets it. She gets energy. She gets helping people. Dr. Janine Ambrose is back with us. How you doing today?
Hi, Steve. Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Always great to get together with you. I'm going to say it. I shared before we got on here that every time I hear your name, when I was growing up, there was a lighthouse near where I am and where I grew up. And if you'd hear the name of this lighthouse listed in the weather radio forecast, 20 nautical miles around this lighthouse. The lighthouse was known as the Ambrose Lighthouse. So every time I see your name, every time you're going to be on with us, I just think of the lighthouse. And that's kind of the Ambrose Lighthouse. It's kind of what you are. You're like a beacon that provides us insight or light, shedding light on different things that we're dealing with. And
How,
today,
how sweet are you? That's neat.
I can't make it up.
Thank you.
It takes me back to my childhood. Every time I hear Ambrose, it's the Ambrose Lighthouse. Since gone, by the way, if anybody Googles it, it was off the coast of Long Island, not far from New York City, lost in a storm, I think back in the 90s, mid 90s. Today, shedding light on consciousness in our world and what's going on. COVID was one thing, and that was a lot of fear and changed a lot of lives. But still, we got a lot going on that people process on a daily basis, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, and the most important thing we can do is keep our happiness because we are a part of the collective of everything. So our thoughts, our reactions, our behaviors, everything reflects out into the universe. So if we can stay happy and stay in harmony and balance with ourselves, it actually affects the consciousness of the world. It's so funny. My daughter watches all these shows that are going on about Russia and everything, and she tells me about it. And she tells me about it. I said, well, that's your part in this. My part in this is when I do my meditation, I put protection around the United States, around the planet. I send healing and love to Putin and Korea. And so my consciousness is about love and healing rather than fear. And that's the most important thing, because when we fall into fear, we feed it. And with people that have come to me with cancer, first thing I say is cut meat out of your diet, fast for a couple days. Don't tell anybody about the cancer, because when you tell them, they visualize it, they give it energy. Does that make sense? So I had a woman come to me, and I didn't even know she had had cancer before. And she did that, and she came back, and I did some healing work on her. She came back and it was gone. So if we get quiet and believe and co-create a different reality within ourselves, we affect not only our own physiology of our body, but we affect the consciousness of the world.
I believe it. What we think becomes our reality. So if you're dealing with a medical situation, let's look at that for a moment.
Okay.
What should your mentality be? Now, I believe that we can heal ourselves with the right mindset. And of course, the rest of us being in balance, maybe talk about cutting back meat. Uh, because I love having a good steak, but I've cut back on it. What should your mindset be? Should you focus on the medical issue? Should you focus the visualization of it being gone? How does that go?
Well, I find that everybody's at a different consciousness level, so we all have different paths. So, for example, my mother had breast cancer, and I took her to an herbalist. She got it in her 50s, and she ended up lasting till she was 75 years old because she didn't feed into it, she didn't accept it, but at the same time, sometimes people have cancer to relieve karma from the family. They go through pain and suffering for the whole family. Does that make sense?
It does.
And our lives, we go through so much to release karma from our generations.
Hmm.
It's a pretty interesting scenario. There's no
It's
one way to everything.
it's like taking one for the team. That's what it sounds like you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
In a way, in a
It's a
way.
better way to put it.
Years ago, I, long story short, had an injury to a foot, fell out of a ceiling. It could have been, thankfully, it wasn't bad, but the impact caused me to get a wart on my foot. And it was a pretty big one. Never had one. What is this? Podiatrist, go there. And he does whatever he does, doesn't go away. Go back again. Doctor, it's still here. Like, what can we do? Does whatever he does, doesn't go away. Go back again. I'm like, what are we going to do? It's hasn't gone away. He says, will it to go away? Will it to go away?
Doctor said that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, at that moment, I didn't think that. I thought, how am I doing? I'm paying him a copay. What a wacko. But I did it. I was like, focused on it. You will leave. You're not welcome. I don't need you. Things like that. Forget exactly what I said in my mind. 2 days later, it was gone. And now
We are
that I think back,
magical. We really are.
that's my point. And now, decades later, like literally decades later, I think the same thing, when things crop up into, medically, whatever it might be. Um, and I believe it works because
Mhm.
the stuff that we're dealing with also comes from other things, like you're talking, on a karmic level, stress, you internalize, oh my gosh, it is like the worst. It can wreak so much havoc in our bodies. Back
Mhm.
to what we were talking about, fear and and our consciousness of what's going on today. Yeah, there's stress for you right there. Um, do you believe that we can do that though? If we, like you said, somebody had cancer, what should your mindset be to eradicate it in your body or whatever the challenge
Well,
is?
and the body can heal itself as long as you allow it. Okay, so like with her, I didn't even know she had had cancer before, but she quit eating so that the body didn't have to work to digest food. It could
Mm,
focus on the problem in the body because the body is conscious and knows when something's not right. And so by doing that and by not telling people so they would visualize it and give it energy, she created it. It's
what?
awesome.
How long did it take for it to go away?
That was within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But, like I said, everybody's at a different consciousness. You have to believe it and you have to focus on it because I realize focus is really important because whatever you focus on, you create. So if you focus on being happy, that's why I watch those Asian movies. My kids make fun of me all the time. And so my son came to my house and he went to get on my Netflix and he goes, Mom, oh, there are on your Asian series. And I go, I know, because they make me laugh. And there's a lot of good information. They're very well written. But do what makes you laugh. Like I get up in the morning and dance to Unstoppable and Bon Jovi, It's My Life,
Mm.
because it empowers me, it gets me going for the day, gets me in the right frame of mind. I'm unstoppable.
You're hearing words to a song and it does something to you.
Yeah,
That's why music is so powerful.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I remember my son when he was really young, he would he said, Mom, I don't feel good. And he goes, he was sick. And I go, well, go play the piano. So he sat down and played the piano. And when he got done, he goes, okay, I'm okay. Just by him sitting and playing the piano and listening to those different frequencies, it affected his body.
Isn't it interesting that our bodies tell us what we need? Or if you keep have a reoccurring thought, there's a reason it's coming up again. It's telling you, your body is telling you something. Like this is going to sound weird.
You're saying that to me?
All right, point taken. Like I, I could do different things this evening. I could be hey, let's text some friends. Let's do you guys want to meet up? Blah blah blah. Something is screaming to me. You need to power down, shut it down, and you need to take your dog and go for a walk. Potentially go into the town and just go walk with your dog. I never do it, ever do it. I'm doing that. Something is screaming at me. I need to do that today. I don't know why.
That's one of the things on my list is it's very important to connect with nature. Get your shoes off, get your feet in the dirt. I've been setting up this patio out here for animals, and I'm feeding the rabbits, and I have ground squirrels and hummingbirds, and it's so neat because if I forget to go feed them, I'll go out my other patio and they'll start screaming at me, literally, and I'll go, "Gosh, I forgot. I'm sorry." So run out and I feed them.
Mm.
It's really wonderful when you connect with nature.
I've started doing it. I go
Yeah.
every day now. No, it's warmer. I go for a walk in the morning and I'll stare at leaves and trees. I'll just stop and I'll go into almost like a fantasy. I love the Caribbean. Need to get away sometime soon. I don't care who it's with or it's just me. I don't care. But I'll look at a shaded area and I'll visualize that I'm there just by looking at the leaves and the trees because it reminds me of that. And I'm not going to lie, was walking my dog today and I felt I need to get grounded. And I walked up to a tree and I actually touched it and I was next to it and it just felt good. It felt good.
Yeah. And whatever you believe becomes reality. So, like with my grandsons, my grandchildren, when I take them, I have them go hug trees with me because they're young enough yet that they won't go, "Oh, that's weird, Nanny,"
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
we just have so much fun when we're out in nature. And look at the trees at night and just stare at them, and you'll be able to see their auras.
Hmm.
Because right now their auras are really big because they're growing and they're sending out all this oxygen and energy because they're not dormant. Have you seen that?
No, but I will tonight. And somebody told me this recently. Have you ever heard this? That yes, trees are there for grounding and comfort, but at the same time, a tree can take from you negative energy and things that are negative. I've never heard that. Have you heard that?
Yeah, they will actually absorb negative energy off of you.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. I never heard that.
absolutely. That's what they do. That's why when we're happy, we give energy, but when we're low, everything has to give us energy, or
Huh.
we take it from other people. That's when we get and pick at people, or we get, in that mood where you're just not happy and nothing you do or anybody around you can be happy either.
Wow. Wow. I had no idea that they can take from you.
Oh, yeah. If you what do I want to say? Combat with them. Remember, I told you how when people are angry, they'll pick at you, and what they're doing is attaching to your energy field. So, what you do is you take your arm and you cut it and you turn your body, and it completely throws them off because you've detached. But if you start fighting back and forth with them, it sucks your energy, it sucks their energy. They're really not getting any because you're sucking it back, and it's just futile. It's very futile.
Based on all of this, I have to tell you, I'm on a quest, and it's because it needs to get done, deflecting negative energy. When anything's negative around me, people are negative, situations, I almost feel like I'm drained. Like like that. Usually in the past, I put up with it. I deal, we'll figure it out. But when somebody or something is massively negative, I gotta go the other way, like immediately.
Well, there's another skill I can give you though. So if you're in a negative environment, you can take your breath and blow it out the windows and out of the room. You can change where you're at.
Hmm.
Because if I go to a bar, I blow all the negativity out. I visualize a big sweeper above the bar, sucking out all the energies or entities or whatever, so that the energy is peaceful when I go listen to a band or a rock and roll Hall of Famer play the guitars.
Sure.
I co-create the reality I want while I'm there and help other people. Even at the gym, I do that
Hmm.
when I go to
Wow.
the gym.
It's I've done that walking into the gym before I get there. I will say positive energy, positive energy. Elevate your energy in my mind. Elevate, elevate. But you know what happens?
What?
People are nicer. They will smile. People I see every day don't even know who they are. They'll pass by me and like, hey, how you doing? Oh, pretty good. How you doing? Before I do that, it would just be like, and there's no interaction whatsoever. So that's proof for me, maybe all of us, that it does work. Like if you just elevate your energy. So I'll share something with you, and this is why we need to be careful in what we think. I go to Taco Bell the other day. My daughter loves Taco Bell. Waiting behind a vehicle. It's taking forever. I'm hearing, give me 12 chalupas. I'll take another 14 of this. And I'm like, oh man, like really? There's like, it's not even that busy. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I look, I can just barely see the board. It's like, $100 worth of food. I'm like, all right. So she pulls around. I get up to the place my order. Sir, can you wait a moment? Sure, no problem. No doubt they're making her order and they can't handle it, of the 5,000 items. Finally place my order, get in back of her. I'm sitting there and now they're, handing the bags out to her. I'm like, look at my daughter. I'm like, taking forever. Like, yeah, I'm getting frustrated. I normally don't, but it's like, really? I just want to like just get in, get out. Like, what? She pulls away. I pull up to the window. They hand me my bag of two gorditas. That was it. And they say, the woman in front of you just paid for your order, pay it forward. And I was like,
Oh,
oh. And I look at my daughter, I'm like, oh, okay. So I was creating this negativity. And I don't know if she saw me in a rear view or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't know. But it was like, I felt like a jerk.
boy, you're frustrated. Well, but look at you got it. You figured it out. Those are all awakenings.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the negativity. It really wasn't. Just another couple of minutes, whatever.
Yeah, I wanted to go over a couple affirmations for people.
Please.
And another thing about changing the consciousness of the world, don't interfere with other people's lives. Does that make sense?
How do you mean? What context?
Well, at a certain point, some people are takers, some people are givers, and some people uh, haven't figured out or haven't awakened to who they are and to love themselves. And a lot of times we want to fix people, but our journey on this planet is to work on ourselves. Because as we become more enlightened, it affects everything around us. So
Hmm.
that doesn't mean don't be caring to people or don't have empathy or compassion. But sympathy is not a good thing because it feeds the energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so here's one of them. I enjoy the successes and pleasures of life and share. Because everything we do, we have to share because the universe is moving all the time. So we enjoy it, the successes and pleasures, but we also share so that it keeps everything moving in the circle, spiral. Everything is happening for a reason, and there is a divine plan. On the planet right now, I want people to know everything's happening because it's supposed to be happening. Do we have a part in helping with this? Absolutely. That's why I do my meditations. That's why I send healing to the people out there, to the countries. But it is happening for a reason.
Agreed.
And that's why I want to bring this up too. I want to build my Loving Arts Center, which is on my website. And when you go on my front page, if you scroll down, you can see my Loving Arts Center, because it'll give people a place to go to connect with nature, to learn about healing modalities, to learn about sound frequency. It's a place where they can have parties and weddings and gatherings, and musicians can come play. So anybody that's interested that would like to be a part of that, you can go on my website, which is www.docja.pro, and let me know. I just wanted to throw that in there because
Huh.
I want it. I'm visualizing it. I've been doing it for 30 years.
Wow. Wow. So this is a center that encompasses essentially positive energy and the
Healing,
arts and the arts.
healing, fun, happiness. You know, I've asked people before, well, what are your passions in life? And they go, well, what do you mean? I go, well, what's your passions? And they go, well, I'll have to think about that. And I was dumbfounded. I have a list this long of passions I want to achieve and create in life, enjoy and share.
It does make you think. It does make you think for a moment about those passions. Like here's the thing. Do you feel that when you were younger, the passions were more obvious or you spent way more time at them?
No, we didn't have as much responsibility.
Yeah.
That's it. We could be more childlike, but I laugh so much now that it's driving the kids crazy. Mom, why do you just keep laughing?
Yeah.
And I go, I can't help it.
Why not? You know, I had I'll laser this quick, but it talks about the passions and had like sort of a hypnotherapy session. And what came up was me when I was in my 20s. And I would mix music as a DJ, for my own pleasure. That was my thing, but I would always do it on Saturday. I was already working in radio, but I had the time to play, if you will. And I would totally enjoy it. So during the hypnotherapy session, even a song that I had played, back when I was in my 20s came through. A couple of minutes later, I had another visual of myself jogging on a track and listening to music. That song came through. And it was my wake up call to those were my passions. And like you said, laughing and having fun. I would jog backwards sometimes around a quarter-mile track, just like, yeah, have a great time just by myself. I went on the other way. I'm listening to these songs I haven't heard in a while. And it was my wake up that we need maybe to go back to those things when we were younger. It was calling me to go back to my 20s for the fun stuff that would make you laugh and make you feel good.
Simplicity, and that when my house burned down a year and a half ago, it took 100 pounds off of me. All this stuff I had was gone. And all of a sudden, even though it was devastating at the time and I had to work through it, it was like, why do we carry all this around? Let's delete in our life. Let's simplify. Let's travel. Let's go to plays. Let's go to rock bands. Let's have fun.
We're on the same page. And it's exactly 2 years. I moved and I downsized for a number of reasons, but purged a lot of stuff. But I still held on to, I had a pool table. I don't even play pool, but in my other house, the owner had one. He worked for Brunswick. It was, great table. So I inherited that. I made that into a fun, like swaggy bar, sports bar in that room. It looked great. It looked great. It looked like you were in a sports bar. And I put that in storage. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. And then I realized time's not right. I'm wasting money on a storage facility. So I sold the stuff, made a couple of bucks off of it. But like to your point, we don't need this stuff. We need very little. Like you said, simplistic. We need very little to sustain and make ourselves happy. All this other stuff, we hang on to it. We have attachments to it. I don't think it's good in a way. We don't need it.
We need land. We need animals. We need trees. We need a place to sleep, you
Right.
know? And maybe a greenhouse for good food and organic foods.
Yeah.
That's really big right now. They're
Mm.
finding out how all these pesticides and
Oh,
GMOs are affecting the physiology of the body.
yeah.
So I pretty much go organic myself. I try to all the time.
Same.
But if you eat out, you don't know if you're eating organically, you
Right.
know?
Right. And looking back, 100 years, 150 years, so much less disease and illness because we basically lived off the land even then. Where now we don't even know what we're eating. It's essentially we're being poisoned, but we allow it because of convenience.
I know. Well, and everybody's so busy. And why are we so busy? We have more conveniences than we've ever had in our life.
And we're more busier. It's crazy.
I don't do that. I'm at a different place now and I love it.
Well, I'm working on getting there.
I'm cleaning.
We're out of time and I have to take my dog for a walk through the town.
Good.
Something is calling that I need to do that. I got nothing for you. I don't know what it is.
Can I go over the 4 L's real quick?
Oh, please do.
And we can talk about them another time. So this came to me in a meditation. It's live, love, learn, and laugh. So live fearlessly. Love yourself and others unconditionally. Learn to observe and not to react. And laugh. Find the humor in living and life. I thought, oh, I loved that. 4 L's.
We're over time here, but
Okay, sorry.
I'm writing it down and I'm going to share this with others. Live,
love, learn, and laugh.
What was the sentence that went with live?
With live fearlessly.
And love.
Yourself and others unconditionally.
Learn.
To observe and not react.
And laugh.
Find the humor in living and life.
And thank you for that.
You bet.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I share this with people and
Oh,
things like that all the
nice.
time. Yeah, I do. Thank you for today. Again, your website is, I want to see, DOCJA. That's Doc Janine Ambrose, DOJCA.pro. Always wonderful talking with you. You are the
You
light.
also, Steve. Thanks.
You are the lighthouse.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.